Welcome back, family. LanceScurv here. I wanted to address the topic of loners and why they are the most dangerous people to try to manipulate, because they see through the foolishness a lot easier than most people. But society has a strange way of judging people who walk alone. If you don't have a tight circle of friends, if you prefer your own space, if you don't chase social approval, people assume something must be wrong with you. They look at you like you missed a lesson everyone else passed, like you're damaged or broken. From a young age, we are taught that being social equals being healthy. More friends means more value. More invitations means more worth. If you're alone too often, people whisper. They assume loneliness instead of choice. They assume weakness instead of wisdom. But what if that story is wrong? What if the loner isn't broken at all? What if they're simply done tolerating nonsense, manipulation, and emotional chaos? The truth is uncomfortable for many people. Some individuals don't isolate because they can't connect. They isolate because they've connected too deeply with the wrong people and paid the price for it. And that's why loners make people uneasy. Not because they're lonely, but because they're selective. And that level of self-respect triggers people who survive on access, attention, control, and chaos. People just don't wake up one day and decide to cut everyone off. Becoming a loner is usually the result of repeated disappointment. It starts early for many. A childhood friend who betrays your trust for popularity. A family dynamic where you're always the helper but never the one helped. A relationship where loyalty is met with disrespect. Over time, patterns become clear. You give, others take. You listen, others ignore. You show up, others disappear. After enough experiences like that, something changes. You stop offering endless chances. You stop explaining yourself. You stop touching a stove that's burned you every single time. What outsiders call cold is really awareness. Loners aren't heartless. They're healed enough to recognize red flags early. They don't argue when manipulation shows up. They don't negotiate with disrespect. They simply leave. Most people tolerate bad treatment because they're afraid of being alone. They accept lies, emotional games, and mixed signals because having someone feels safer than having no one. But loners have learned the opposite lesson. They know being alone is better than being drained. That's why they don't chase. They don't beg. They don't try to fix broken people. When something feels off, they trust that feeling and back off. When boundaries are crossed, they exit quietly. No speeches, no drama, just self-respect. And yes, that makes people angry because clarity removes leverage. Early emotional pain sharpens perception. It teaches pattern recognition. Loners notice what others overlook. Fake friendliness, hidden motives, attention seeking disguised as kindness. They've seen the same behaviors too many times to ignore them. This isn't paranoia, it's experience. Once you've been manipulated enough, your intuition gets stronger. You don't need proof anymore. You feel it. Loners also understand boundaries in a way most people don't. They learn the hard way that people will take as much as you allow. So they stopped overgiving. They stopped explaining their no. They stopped answering every call, fixing every crisis, carrying everyone else's emotional weight. Clarity replaces niceness, and people hate that. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries will always accuse you of changing when you finally reset those boundaries. They'll call you selfish, cold, difficult, evil, but what they're really upset about is the loss of access. Loners don't build walls to shut everyone out. They build filters. Only emotionally healthy, respectful, self-aware people get through. Everyone else gets confused, offended, and left behind. When you grow up without support, you learn how to survive on your own. You learn how to self-soothe, self-correct, and self-protect. You stop waiting to be saved. That independence becomes your foundation. It makes you calm in chaos, confident in uncertainty, stable when others fall apart. People admire that strength from a distance, but up close, it intimidates them. Because when someone doesn't need you, you can't control them. You can't manipulate them with guilt, silence, or threats of abandonment. The moment you stop fearing loss, you become untouchable. That's the real reason why loners are feared. Not because they're dangerous, but because they can walk away without falling apart. They've already survived emptiness. They know peace exists on the other side of solitude. Once you experience real peace, quiet mornings, calm nights, no drama, no emotional emergencies, you protect it fiercely. Loners don't entertain chaos because they know exactly what it costs. They don't need long explanations. Behavior speaks loud enough. Disrespect is a deal breaker, not a discussion. And when people say, "You didn't even give me a chance," the truth is simple. They already showed who they are. Loners choose solitude over settling, quality over quantity, depth over noise, and that choice is powerful. Loners aren't broken, they're evolved. They turn pain into clarity, trauma into boundaries, loneliness into peace. They don't fear being alone, and that's why manipulation doesn't work on them. They see through games, excuses, and fake apologies. They don't need approval. They don't chase validation. If the world warns people to beware of loners, what they really mean is beware of those you can't control. And if you're one of them, someone who walked away, chose peace, and never looked back, you don't need permission to protect your life. You're not missing out. You're finally free. If this message resonated with you, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. LanceScurv out on to the next one. Much love to you all. I appreciate you being here. Peace.